Okay, guys, hello. So, what we're going to be doing today is coloring our periodic table. So, the first thing I need you to do is choose 3 colors you really like. Now, I would choose 3 colors that are kind of light and you can easily see through. So, I chose pink, like a teal, and purple. As you can see, purple was not a good choice. Love purple, just bad for this. So, you're going to take one color and we're going to color our metals, okay? So I'm going to try, keyword try, I'm going to try to outline our metals so that you can kind of see. So I chose pink. I'm going to try to keep it consistent. So you're going to color in this box your designated metal color, excluding hydrogen. Hydrogen is not a metal. You're then going to color in these 2 polygons. We got 2 rectangles, okay? Please ignore this, my line drawing skills. Drawing with a mouse is very difficult. Okay, so you're gonna do these 3 boxes, 1, 2, 3. And then over here on the right-hand side, you're going to color in these elements, being careful that you do not accidentally include a metalloid. Okay, so these are our metals. Once you color those in, I would make a key up here, just so you know. Okay? Next, take your other color. Again, I'm going to try to match my colors. Our metalloids. You're following this staircase. This staircase separates our metals to the left and our non-metals to the right. However, the elements that are on this line are what we classify as metalloids. They are not quite metals, but they are not quite non-metals. They can do things both metals and non-metals can do. So you're just going to color them in, again, being careful that you include only the metalloids. And on our periodic tables, the metalloids have diagonal lines on them to help you right here. And again, make a key for yourself. Last but not least, let me get purple. Good enough. We're going to color in our non-metals. So our non-metals are on the right-hand side. Again, avoid your metalloids. This is so much harder than it looks, guys. Oh. Okay, so these are our non-metals, and we can't forget hydrogen over here. Okay, so that should be all the coloring of the periodic table we do. Oh, and don't forget to make a key for yourself up here. And then you can go ahead and color this one in too if you want. Up to you. Okay, so I'm going to try to erase all of this now so I can tell you what else to do. So if you're still coloring, go ahead and pause this video at this point. If you are not still coloring and you're ready for more instructions, here we go. So I need you to add some numbers to our periodic table. Okay? So there are these things called valence electrons, and if you remember them from freshman year science, those are just the electrons that are on the outermost shell of our atoms or our elements. So up in this corner of your periodic table, in the same color you're going to write these numbers, I would suggest using a thin marker or a colored pencil. You're going to write valence electrons, number of valence electrons, whichever one you prefer. Then, above group 1, you will write 1. Above group 2, you will write 2. We're going to skip the transition metals and go over to group 13. You're going to write 3 above group 13, 4 above 14, 5 above 15. You get the pattern, okay? So your valence electrons, my valence electrons are in blue. should be listed above your group numbers. Okay? The next set of numbers we're going to write. Let me get a different color. Well, let's do orange. So this is also in our each box of the periodic table, but it's helpful to write it. It's quick, it's a nice shortcut. So certain groups of elements have designated charges. So above group 1, between the name of the group and the box, we're going to write +1. That is the charge that all of these elements have when they become ions. We'll talk about ions in a few minutes, okay? You're going to write +2 above group 2. When these elements become ions, they always have a +2 charge. Again, skip our transition metals, they're tough. A +3 above group 13. A plus or -4 above group 14. Okay, don't worry about that, just plus or -4. Again, it tells you here in this portion of our periodic table what it's going to be. Okay, group 15 is a -3. So when our nonmetals, when our elements that are nonmetals form ions, they always have negative charges. So group 15 is a -3, group 16 is a -2, group 17, -1. And then our noble gases do not have a charge. They don't have valence electrons to give or to gain. They have a full octet, the great state of 8. They have a 0 charge. Just a few more things. So, if you notice here, liquids. There are 2 elements in their elemental form that are liquids. So I would take like a black marker, a black colored pencil, and I would just outline mercury, which is a liquid at room temperature, and bromine, which is a liquid at room temp. It's just important to know. The last thing we're adding, I don't know what color to do this in, green. Okay. There are 7 elements that are diatomic. Diatomic meaning 2 atoms, okay? So in their elemental form, their natural form, they always have 2 elements together. I like to call this effin broccoli or Brinkelhoff, and I will explain that to you. So this symbol right here, this little oval, indicates which elements are diatomic. So we have hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Okay, so if you spell this out nicely in our little acronym, it's effin broccoli. So we have fluorine. Please don't judge my online handwriting. N for effin. H is silent. Br for our bromine. Ooh, that's a tough one. O for oxygen. Cl for our chlorine. And then I for our iodine. So when you put that all together, you get effin broccoli. So I would write this in a lot nicer handwriting on your periodic table or Brinkelhoff. If you want to know what Brinkelhoff's abbreviation or acronym is, just ask me in class or via email, and I'll give it to you. I'm not going to write it out again. So with that being said, our periodic table should basically be all colored in, and all of the important information should be on there now. So you can go ahead and move on to the next activity.